Hi guys, and welcome to my DIY channel. Let's get right into it. So for this video, I'm so excited to show you guys that I'm going to be making two projects that are going to be very similar, but I wanted to show like two different ways. So just using these, but using these 4 boxes from the Dollar Tree, I'm going to be making 2 different signs that are home signs. And I'm just so excited to show you guys how I do this. So as you can see, the lids have these cute little cutouts on them, these little owl cutouts, and I wasn't worried about that at all because I knew that I could cover it up with paper. And then these bottom boxes are really deep. In fact, right here I was contemplating all of the future things that I can do with these boxes. So the first thing that I do is I go ahead and get started with drilling some holes in the bottom boxes only, because I wanted to do this while I was outside and while I had some really good daylight. So right here I just do on pretty much all but one of the boxes, I do all 4 corners and get the holes drilled into these boxes. Then using some espresso stain from the Minwax brand, I went ahead and I got these bottom deep parts of the boxes all stained. I left the lids for the other project. Okay, so then moving on to the lids, because we will come back to these other bottom boxes in just a minute, but moving on to the lids, I wanted to give them a dry brush look. So I went ahead and I used some white chalk paint and I just gave them a light coating. I didn't even do 2 coats, and I didn't mind if some of the wood showed through. And I wanted to use the inside of these boxes, so I painted the inside and the outside of these boxes. I didn't paint the back though because we're going to be covering up those holes. Then, to cover up the backs of these little boxes and the holes, I went ahead and I grabbed some scrapbook paper and I cut it down to size so that it would fit. And I did 3 of the same color with 1 offset. And then I liked that the paper was distressed and rippled and just I liked that it didn't lay flat. And so I went ahead and I just used my hot glue gun to glue it down because I didn't want it to be sealed with everything down like it would have been with like Mod Podge. And so I just did 4 little dollops and glued them down. And I loved how they looked like this. I also didn't put any Mod Podge on the top. I just did some hot glue and glued them in. Then, using my silhouette cutting machine, I used one of these little decals that I just got from the design studio, which is this little, you'll see it in just a minute, and then I also just typed out the 3 letters H, M, and E because I want to do home signs, like I said, but I want to use the O as something else than just an O. So I actually got these little circles from the Dollar Tree. They're these cute little Dollar Tree, they're these little chalkboard tags, and I went ahead and using white vinyl, that's just the Cricut brand vinyl that I got from Walmart, I went ahead and I just put this vinyl right onto that circle because I thought it would be really cute to be able to use that as the O. Then I went ahead and I just pulled out each of the letters and I just put them into each of the boxes so that it was H-O-M-E. And I saved the outer part of the vinyl for the next project. Okay, once that was done, I wanted to show you guys some options that you could use for the O that I thought would look really cute. So here is the little farmhouse circle, but if you don't want to use that, I thought it would be really cute to do some greenery. You guys have seen where you just take some greenery sprigs that you have left over from your stash, glue them together in a line and make a circle, and then you can just have a little farmhouse wreath for your O. And then of course, because you guys know that I have to do some embellishments, I went ahead and I used some jute twine, I tied a couple bows, and I grabbed some other greenery sprigs so that when I set it up all in a line to say home, I wanted something on the H and something on the E. So I went ahead and I tied some bows and glued on some greenery just to embellish it a little bit. And here's how it turned out. Very simple and fun, and I like the diversity of it. I like that I can change out. You guys, I didn't even glue that in. I just set that little sign in there so that I could change it out if I wanted to. I'm gonna have to find a little bit more of a permanent option, but I like that I can change it out. And coming back to our stained boxes, here we're gonna do the other part of this home sign. So I had this burlap roll that I got from Walmart a long time ago, and I can't even remember how much it was. It was like $3 or $4 for the whole roll, and I've used it in so many projects. It has lasted me forever. So I used a pen and I traced the box onto it, and I didn't know if it would work. It didn't. It didn't work at all. So then I got a marker. I got smart and got a marker and used that to trace it on, and that definitely worked so much better so that I was able to cut that out, and I ended up cutting out 4 of these pieces of burlap for each one of the boxes. Once that was done, I went ahead and I got it all glued on with some hot glue. And then using that leftover vinyl that I told you guys not to throw away, told you to save that vinyl. So now I'm gonna use that leftover vinyl as a stencil to create my second home sign. So once again, I did not use an O because I wanted it to be used for something else, but I went ahead and I put the H and the M and the E on each of their respectable boxes. Once that was in place and ready to go, I went ahead and used this sponge that I just get from the Dollar Tree and some Waverly white chalk paint, and I just sponged those onto the burlap on each one, just so that you could see them. Once that was done, then it was time to assemble the signs to come together. I want this to be a hanging sign, and so if you remember those holes that we screwed in the beginning, I went ahead and I used some jute twine, and I'm weaving them through each one of the boxes and spacing approximately about an inch or just over an inch. I honestly just eyeballed it, and I went ahead and I just weaved it through in each box and tied a knot on the inside so that each box hung from the other box. This wasn't too bad. This was probably the most time-consuming part of this entire project. It didn't take forever. It took me about 10 minutes. So I love to just throw on some Instagram, watch some stories, and just go to town with or some YouTube videos. I love to just watch me some crafting YouTube videos, gain some inspiration, and I go ahead and just do these long parts of these projects. Then for the top, I just strung one through and tied it through the other end, so you guys can see the back here. I strung it through so I had a hanger. And then from my stash, I had these little brads that I want to say I got from the Home Depot, but I liked that it was going to give these corners a little bit of a more finished look. Kind of like, instead of just gluing that burlap on there, we nailed that burlap on there, I guess, pinned it down. And so I went ahead and I pounded one of these into each of the corners of the box. And then, because I already had this little green wreath made, this is exactly what I thought just would add that perfect pop of farmhouse green color to this. So I used my little wreath that we made earlier, and I just put some glue dollops on there so that I could lightly glue that on. I didn't want it completely flattened on there, but we get that glued on and ready to go.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed these projects, please let me know in the comments down below. If you guys are new here, please consider subscribing, and if you would, please give this video a thumbs up. Thank you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. If you guys are interested, please come check me out on Instagram. I will leave my Instagram link down below for you, and I also have a family and lifestyle channel that if you're interested in checking that out, you can. I'll have that link down below as well. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.